to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, although not recently, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? It has been 3 weeks since my last confession, since my last yarn session. I did not record last week, and I was able to post like a little memo on the community section of YouTube, but I don't know if everybody gets that. So I did not record last week because I just wasn't feeling very well. I had some stomach troubles, which is not unheard of in my life. They come and go. It's a thing. I'm used to it. It's been for like 10 years now. They're particularly bad. So I just wasn't feeling very well at all, so I decided not to record. I actually did not touch yarn at all for like 8 days, over a week. I didn't do any crochet or knitting because I just basically went to work and ate toast and then came home and went to bed. So I think you can like still tell I'm like really tired, but I'm feeling a lot better. I have my water, which I will no doubt be taking lots of sips of because I was a little bit dehydrated last week. So I'm feeling still very tired, but much better. So on the mend, very happy about that and happy to be back with you. I considered taking another week off, but I really didn't want to. Like, I want to see you, I want to talk to you. And this is something that I do every 2 weeks, and to go 3 weeks makes it feel like it's been an eternity since I have recorded. Literally, it feels like 2019 was the last time I recorded an episode, which of course is ridiculous. So this might be a short episode, but we are going to do this anyways, and we're going to see how far we get. If you are looking for me anywhere in the interweb, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram, on Facebook. And if you have anything to say related to the podcast specifically, please shoot me an email. That is the absolute best way to get a hold of me. The email address that I have set up for this podcast is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. I have 4 projects to talk about. 2 crochet, 2 knitting. There has been a small amount of progress on 3 of them and a big amount of progress on 1 of them. I turned into like monogamous, which is not who I am at all, but I have a various amount of projects, but not very much work. I have a little bit of happy mail, and I should tell you what I'm wearing. This is a cardigan that I made out of Lion brand jeans yarn, which I really love in the colorway jumpsuit. It's like this pinky magenta-y red, and it is a cardigan with these wooden buttons, which I love. This is the Envision cardigan or the Reminisce sweater by Heidi May. I made both of them. I made the Envision cardigan and the Reminisce sweater, and I can never remember which one this is. But if you look up the Velvet Acorn, which is Heidi May's designs, this is the one without the thumb holes. And it's not as long. So, and also it's linked in my Ravelry project page, which if you would like to check out Ravelry, it is down below. We have a group for this podcast. And I haven't done this in so long that I completely forgot to mention we have Crochet Lungs going on. So exciting. So the first make-along, we have 3 year-long make-alongs running. So the first is one that I am co-hosting with Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast, who is truly a delightful person. And if you don't watch her, first of all, why not? But second of all, she's running a crochet along with Chrissy Glass. So Claudia, you have made it. You are so famous now. You're the most famous person in the crochet world. So definitely go check her channel out. We're running the Wizarding Now 2020, which is a sock and sewing make-along. So you make a pair of socks every month for the year of 2020, and there is a prompt in both of our Ravelry groups. I have the finished objects thread, and she has a chatter thread. There is a prompt for every month, and we are currently in April while I'm recording this, but we will be in May by the time you see this video. So the prompt for January was Name Your Wizard. The prompt for February was Always. March was Potions and Brews. And the prompt for April, which is my birthday month, makes me so happy. The prompt is, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. If you know what that means, you know. And then May is called transformation. So whatever those prompts mean to you, if you can make the sock yarn fit somehow, or you can make a sewing project fit, that will be perfect. So that is running. I just drew the first quarter prize in the last podcast episode for that and for the other 2 make-alongs, and all of those prizes have gone out. I think everyone has received them, so very happy with that. The second make-along that is being currently run is the Mission Impossible Mal 2020. Now, this is a make-along for any project that really, really challenges you. I have one to show you. So, a small amount of progress, you guys. It can be any craft as long as there's somehow fiber related to it, and just anything that challenges you and really stretches you, anything that you have put off finishing because it's really complicated, anything like that. That is the make along for you. And there's so many people who have done their first garments in that thread, which makes me really, really happy. And then the final mal is the Year of Classics 2020, which is a make-along where you are supposed to make things that will actually fit you and fit in your wardrobe that you will actually wear. So like this for me would fit the Year of the Classics theme. It is one of the cardigans that I wear fairly frequently, although I did make it in, it's kind of a light worsted weight, so it doesn't get super a lot of wear, especially during the summer because it's too hot. But I do reach for this one quite frequently and I like it very much. So it is definitely for a garment or very large accessory make along, not for like hats and things like that. Parched. So those are the make alongs we have running. And then if you want to join any of those, just go to the Ravelry group down below. You know what to do. And one other thing I wanted to tell you about before I jump into what I have been working on is a campaign. Now, you will remember that Luisa Jewelry is a company that has sponsored an episode of this podcast previously, and they sent me some lovely jewelry before. And so they are running a campaign at the moment where basically you buy a bracelet and 100% of the proceeds go towards, they're donated to the CDC Foundation, which of course all of those proceeds are being used to fight the virus that is going around. And I just think it's beautiful. I thought I would show it to you. This is what the bracelet looks like. It's called the Unity bracelet, and they're not incredibly expensive. And I think they're gonna ship sometime mid to the end of May because they're doing like collecting all of them. But I will leave a link directly to the bracelet down below if you would like to participate in that. I have definitely gotten a couple for a few people who are dear to me and who I thought could use a little brightening of their day. And I love that the proceeds go to the CDC Foundation. And also, I really like the company Luisa Jewelry. They use 100% recycled gold in all of their stuff. So they're kind of focused on being sustainable and all of their packaging is recyclable, etc. So I was very, very happy with them when I worked with them previously, and I'm excited to support them in this, which I think I would be doing anyways, because I just really like the whole concept behind it. So I'll leave a link to that down below if you're interested in sending a little pick-me-up to yourself or someone that you love who might be interested in wearing a beautiful bracelet like that. Enough talk. Let us dive in to what I have been working on. And I say working loosely because, as I said, not much has been done. The first thing is being made in Loops and Threads Wool-like in the colorway Teal Lake. This is the second ball. It is actually almost completely empty inside, so I don't want to smoosh it because then it won't come out anymore. And I'm using a 3.5mm hook for this and my other crochet project. And I have completed, I don't know, 5 or 6 rows on this since the last time. What is living in here is my Angela cardigan, which is a pattern by Vicki Chan. I love Vicki Chan. She is an amazing crochet designer and knitwear designer for that matter. And I have been working on this hardly at all. It looks big, but it's about exactly the same size as it was before. Let me see, I have a stitch marker. So you can see that I have done 1, 2, oh gosh, I haven't even done 5 rows. I've done 4 rows on this. You can see the mesh. Of course, when it's blocked, it's gonna be like that, which is fabulous. This is definitely an entry for the year of the classics for me, because this is a cardigan. It's long, it goes like down past your behind, and it's loose and drapey and open, and that is exactly the kind of thing I want to wear, especially in Florida. Oh, I love it so much. Look at this mesh. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, but it has not grown hardly at all. It takes me about 20 minutes to do a row because there is a billion stitches. My gauge, I'm not using yarn called for. I never do I? I've always had gauge problems. So not only is my gauge tight to begin with, but I am using a light fingering weight instead of a fingering weight yarn. So I measured the amount of stitches I was getting with the wool-like yarn, and then I calculated how many stitches I would need to get the large size, or the medium/large size, in that many stitches, and it turned out to be the 3x stitch count. Or it was like slightly less or more than that, but I rounded it to the 3x stitch count because with a pattern with this much ease, a couple inches isn't going to make that much of a difference. So of course I am making it harder on myself by doing it with so many extra stitches. But that yarn, some of it I purchased and some of it was gifted to me. I do love wool-like because it's so inexpensive. It's probably the only inexpensive fingering weight yarn in big box stores that I know of, and it is completely wool free, which is wonderful if you have a wool sensitivity. You can throw it in the washer, you can throw it in the dryer. It does pill, I will tell you. It does pill, but it does have a little bit of nylon in it. I think it's 85% acrylic, 15% nylon. And I have made 2 sweaters and 3 shawls with this yarn. So I highly recommend the yarn. I just think it's a great value for the money, and I wish I was working on that more, because every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, it's so soft. I love the color. I'm gonna wear this like 24/7 when it's done. And then I do like a row and I put it away. Why? I don't know. Maybe I'm in mesh land, body island. So the other project that I have been working on just a little bit, I'll show you the other crochet project first, is my Obsidian Cardigan, which I am making out of this yarn, which is Holst Garn Super Soft in the colorway Graphite. It also is a light fingering weight yarn. Why? Why do I do this to myself? You can maybe tell that this cone is smaller than it was last time, for sure. That is what the color, looks like. That blows it out a little bit. That is the color. It's like a really dark gray, a little bit heathery. It's black, but I wouldn't say it's like a true black because of the heathering. So it also has not grown much. And you can see here, it has grown about 2 inches. So again, these rows are really long. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows on this, which of course I'm doing all the way around. So it does take quite a while to do a row. But this is a cardigan pattern that I am all tangled up in, that I am designing. And with Holst Super Soft, it's almost like working with cobweb, like a really rough cobweb almost, because it is covered in spinning oil. But when it is blocked, when it is washed, it fluffs up like nobody's business. But it really needs to be covered in spinning oil, because there would be literally no way you could frog it if it was washed before you work with it. So it looks kind of thin here. Of course, it's always going to be mesh like that, but it tends to look almost like spiderweb, cobweb. But I know, because I washed and blocked my swatch, which you must always do when you're making a garment, that it will look amazing when it's done. I had grand delusions that this was going to be done by my birthday, which was last week. Oh, can you imagine? Look at how, I mean, this doesn't even cover my bust yet. I have like another 2 feet of this. Probably, maybe not 2 feet, like 1.5 feet. I have at least another 1.5 feet, probably 2 feet before I even start the border and the collar. So grand delusions. Maybe I could have gotten a lot further if I had been actually working on it, but I haven't been, because I just wasn't feeling well. I just love the ribbing. I'm very excited about this. It may turn out to be a little itchy for me. Holst Super Soft is 100% wool. It is not a superwash wool. It is super soft compared to some other wools but it is not super soft. So if you have a sensitivity, you may find an issue with this wool, but I think that I will be okay. I think once I'm all the way done with it, my plan is to wash it, block it of course, and then if it's still, because the only place that it seems to, I think it would bother me is on the back of my neck, like right here. So if that bothers me at all, what I will do is sew a piece of black silk on the inside, just at the top of the neck, to kind of be like a little bit of a lining right there, and then it should be no problem. Because I know it's not gonna bother me on my arms, and then if I'm wearing it, I'm generally gonna be wearing clothing underneath it. I'm not just gonna wander around in a lace cardigan by itself. So it definitely will be fine. Love this yarn. I think I would make another project in it for sure. And it's certainly a wonderful yarn to use for mind blank color work. If you go on Holst Garn's Instagram, they have some pretty good color work photos of that yarn being used, and they have such a wide range of colors. So I really like it. The third project I've been working on, now we're moving on into the 2 knitting projects. This has gotten a little bit of work, but it hasn't been touched in almost 3 weeks. So right after I recorded the last episode is when I worked on this, and it has not gotten any love since then. But it is my Longline Cardigan, which is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. It's a paid for pattern. I am making, my gauge again is a little tight, so I did a whole bunch of math, which I've discussed at length in previous episodes. So I am making the extra large stitch counts and following the large measurements, because the large measurements I know will fit me, but with my gauge the way it was, definitely had to go with the extra large stitch counts. So I have actually separated. This is gonna look like craziness because it is. So last time I had done this part and this part and like a couple extra rows. So then what you do is you start working, I don't even know how to show this to you. So you start working like yoke construction. So this is like the front left, and then we have this little shoulder part, and then there's this, I don't even know what to call this, like a little gusset or something. This is the back of the sweater. And you can see my sweater progress keeper. And then the same thing on the other side. You have a shoulder and then the front panel. Because this is built like this. It starts on the back of your neck and goes down. And so what I have actually done is split. So originally all of these stitches were on one needle, this one right here, and I thankfully had just enough cables. I wanted to put actual cables, put the stitches on hold on cables, because I find them so much easier to pick up that way. Whereas when I put stitches on waste yarn, I find that highly irritating, especially in a white or light colored yarn, because my crochet cotton is white. It's just a mess and I hate it. So what I did is you then start working down the right front panel. So this right here, I've only done a couple of rows after I split. That is where you split. So this right here is the right front panel. Then all of these back stitches are on hold, just on a cable by themselves, held by like a safety pin. And then the left front stitches are on hold with stoppers. I only have 2 stoppers on my ChowGoo interchangeable set. And thankfully I only have this and one other knitting project going. Otherwise this might have been a problem, because I have used every single cable that I own for this size to put these stitches on hold. So this I am fondly calling my Skyrim cardigan. Ooh, ultimate squish. This is the winter hold colorway. The next colorway is going to be Solitude. Yes, this is Solitude, I believe. Let's see, no, Dawn Star. What am I saying? Am I missing one? I am not. This is Solitude. Forever. I need to write this down on a slip of paper. This is the colorway Solitude. This is what I'm starting the sweater with. Then it is going to go to Dawn Star. So I'm gonna fade it into this color. And then the next color to be faded into is this one. So you can see that they go together like amazingly. And this color, I cannot see the inside of this tag to tell you. It is Winterhold. See, that's why I thought it was Winterhold. This colorway perfectly captures Winterhold, by the way. So Solitude, Dawnstar, Winterhold. That is how the fade is going to go. And I think I have worked out how many rows I need to do in each color. Once I am fading, I have 50 grams. I have used 50 grams of the Solitude yarn. So I need to be careful because I have to work the right front down to like 7 inches. So I'm only gonna work maybe 3 inches, maybe 2 inches straight in that color and then start fading because I have to use it for the back and other side panel as well. So there's gonna be about 1 billion ends that I have to weave in. This doesn't really look like anything yet, but this is kind of, this is kind of what it's supposed to look like. I don't have a ton of progress, but I do love every stitch when I'm working on it. It's just the squishiest yarn and it's in Skyrim colorways. And if I didn't say this before, this was made, it was a birthday gift last year, so 2019, from Leah, who runs Sheep Happens Yarn, which I'll leave a link to down below. I can't even, like, the fact that she made me a Skyrim fade set, delightful. I'm just so excited. This is my Mission Impossible now project because I have never knit a fingering weight sweater. In fact, I've only knit one sweater in my life and it was for my husband and it was in DK. I have so far learned how to do a provisional cast on. I've learned how to make one while purling. I have learned how to pick up stitches from a provisional cast on. And now I'm doing all this crazy splitting stuff and I've never really faded in this manner either. So it's a mess. It is quite a process. But it definitely takes concentration, which is why that pattern has not gotten much love in the last couple of weeks. Now, the final pattern that I have been working on is the one that has gotten all of my love and all of my attention for the past 3 weeks, even though I didn't touch any yarn for 1 whole week. And it is this shawl. It is the Transition Shawl, which is a pattern by Hand Knit by Cam. Let me find a photo for you. I am so close. Apparently there is no photo anywhere in this pattern that I can show you. Where did it go? Where? Oh, where? Maybe you, oh, there it is. That is what I was looking for. That's what it looks like. It's huge. It's like a half a hexie. I am done with the stockinette part. Can you believe that? Actually done with the stockinette part of this yarn. I mean, of this project. So the yarn I am using is Webs. Valley Yarns in the yarn Charlemont, which is a 60% merino, 20% silk, 20% nylon. You get 100 grams for 439 yards. And the colors are light green, light gray, and dark gray, which is over there. Ooh, and I dropped this one on the floor. So as you can see, I have used up quite a lot of these two. Not so much of this light green. And I still have this much of the dark gray, although that is going to go down significantly because there's no way you're really going to be able to see this. But I'm gonna try and scooch as one panel as wide as I can get it. I can't even show you one whole panel of it. So you can see that it starts down there and kind of goes up. It's this beautiful stockinette striped shawl. This stitch marker is where I was last time. And I have done all of that. I am done, completely done with the stockinette portion of this shawl. And I am now onto the border, which you can barely tell. I've done like 2 rows of the border. The border, someone is motorcycling very loud outside my window. The border is in Fisherman's Rib, which I will talk about in a second. This yarn is lovely and soft and shiny. It does split, so you do have to be careful of that. Although I'm much better at working with it now than I was at the beginning of this shawl. This shawl has been on the needles for like 2 years. I want to say at least 2 years. So I'm kind of dying to get it done. And also just having the stockinette and not having to use any brain power at all was what I needed the last couple of weeks. Now this may not look like much progress to you. You're like, oh yeah, that's like a few inches, no big deal. Okay. Right here where the stitch marker is, there are 500 stitches on the needle. Where the border is, I am 611 stitches. So one row of this to knit takes me half an hour, to purl takes me longer than half an hour for sure. And I just can't show you the whole thing because it's all bunched up. And ooh, drops the pattern. This is what you come for, to see me. How many things can Hannah drop in one episode? The answer is an incredible amount. So I can't show you because it's all bunched up on the needle, and I'm not going to take it off the needle till the border's done. But you see when I stretch it out how much it grows. So it is really bunched up. It's big and beautiful, but look at all these ends that are going to have to get woven in. And I will tell you, even though you can't really tell what it is yet, this border is done in fisherman's rib, which is like fake brioche. And I hate it. Not the way it looks, but what you have to do to do fisherman's rib. So basically, fisherman's rib is like you yarn over and then you slip one and then you knit one, and then on the way back, you yarn over, you slip one, and then you knit two together with the one that you slipped, or the yarn over and the slip from the previous row. I do not like that stitch. I do not like it on a plane. I do not like it on a train. I do not like fisherman's rib. Sam, I am. I do not like it. Now, I know some people just love it and you love brioche. I have like, at the moment, no interest in that, but I am dedicated to finishing this shawl, so I will do it, but it is so slow, and I have had to significantly relax while doing it because I can't. If you are doing it too tightly with your yarn overs and your slip stitches, I have fought through an entire row of stitches that were too tight, so I have been consciously trying to relax. I have 21 more rows of fisherman's rib to do, and honestly, I think for my aesthetic, I'm gonna finish it. But if I were making this shawl now, as opposed to like this being a 2-year-old whip, because I know a lot more about modifying patterns and I know a lot more about my aesthetic and what I like to knit on. So I wanted to try it at least, but I definitely think just a regular ribbing would be fine. Like go up a needle size and do a 2x2 rib or a 3x1 rib, something like that. Maybe even 3x3 would be a nice stretchy squishy rib, and that would go so much faster than this fisherman's rib. But I am dedicated. I'm going to finish it. And you might say, why not? Just do the ribbing that you want to do. Well, because I did not put on a lifeline because I like to live dangerously. And that is 6, 12, almost 1,800 stitches I would have to rip out. And tink back, I cannot imagine. No, absolutely not. And the fisherman's rib is kind of mindless. It's just slow, which is why I don't like it. The thing that I like about knitting, which I know I've said many times before, I don't like purling. I don't like doing anything fancy. I don't like lace. I don't like any of that. I like stockinette in the round, which is why I made so many socks last year. That is what I like. That's relaxing to me. I don't have to really look at what I'm doing. I don't have to think. I love the way stockinette looks. It is such a beautiful, like, so classic. Purling is enough. Purling is enough of a trial to put up with, but fisherman's rib, not a fan. And if you love fisherman's rib, I apologize. But I am not a fan, and I am pretty sure in 21 more rows, I still won't be a fan. But, you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll be eating my words on the next podcast. I would love to have this done for the next podcast episode, but who knows? The way life is going. How I always say, oh, I totally can get this done. I would love to have progress, and then I have no progress. So I think instead of setting unrealistic expectations, even though this is bursting out of my bag, I'm just going to say I will work on it if the mood strikes me, which currently it is. And in the meantime, I will show you whatever I have worked on in the podcast when there's more than like 2 stitches. I did actually put a couple of rows on my second sock that has been on the needle since January. And by a couple of rows, I mean like 2 rows. And so I'm not going to show you that because 2 rows in fingering weight on a sock, you can't even tell that I did anything. So that is all the yarny things. I did get some happy mail, which I will show you. I got a package all the way from the UK from a lovely viewer of this podcast named Stacy. And she sent me, she sent me like a bunch of little goodies, which I was not expecting. A bunch of candy. So we have some galaxy eggs. Oh no, enchanted eggs. So I have not tried these yet. 2 Cadbury cream eggs, and also a little bag of the candy coated Cadbury eggs. And so this showed up before my stomach troubles. And I was really sad because I didn't actually get any Cadbury eggs on Easter, which I love to have a little bag of Cadbury eggs. So those got demolished. But then my stomach started hurting, so I have not eaten any of this candy. I'm just hoarding it until such a time as when I feel better. And there's also a Maltesers bunny and some cold brew tea. And she also sent me this lovely magnet. She wrote just such a sweet note. And there is a company called the Scullery, which I will show you the back of. You have Instagram and Facebook. This is a magnet, and it looks like it's made out of polymer clay. There, that's perfect. So you can see it's a sugar skull, but it has all of these amazing designs on it. It's really beautiful. So that was very, very sweet of you. Thank you. But the reason she sent me the package was to send me this Simply Crochet magazine, number 20, because it has a pattern in it called page 40. Lilac Time, which is actually the Elysium cardigan, which has been on my wish list and Ravelry for quite some time. So she sent this to me, and it's really beautiful. Because she had a paper copy of this pattern, and I didn't have the pattern. And also, I wanted to show you one other pattern in here that I thought was really pretty, which is on page 52. That. I really like that. Really like that shawl. So thank you so much, Stacy. That was delightful. You totally brightened my after Easter because I got Cadbury eggs. Even though we are on lockdown and I didn't think I was gonna get any Cadbury eggs at all. But what's really funny is right around the same time, a lovely viewer of this podcast gifted me an electronic copy of the Elysium cardigan, which I know it might seem weird. Now I have 2 copies, but actually I'm really, really grateful because I love a paper pattern, so I will be using that one. But sometimes I take my projects with me, or I take things with me and I don't have access to the pattern because of my life. I leave it at home or something, and I love to be able to pull it up on Ravelry. And so a lovely viewer of this podcast named Lemon Cakes, that's her Instagram, she sent me a copy of Elysium that way for my birthday, which was just so sweet of her. So thank you, Stacy, and thank you. I don't know if I can say your real name, so I'm just gonna say thank you, Lemon Cakes. And I also think it's interesting to see the difference between the magazine pattern, because they had to cut it down, and the actual PDF pattern because it's like longer. So I've never been able to like compare a pattern like that before, so I think that will be really interesting. If I had been feeling better, I probably would have already been digging in my stash, like what can I make this out of? Because what kind of yarn does this use? I want to say 4-ply, so fingering. I don't know if I have any fingering. I don't know if I have enough fingering in one color to make that. I may have to go shopping because I did get a small amount of birthday money that is burning a hole in my pocket. I also got a lovely pattern from a viewer of this podcast. This is a Tunisian cardigan. It's called the Follow You Sweater. And let me see if that's the only photo, or I can give you another one. I think think those are the only photos in the pattern. So this was a gift from Instagram or Ravelry name Violet, who lives, I believe, in Sweden. And so she sent me this and was like, I saw your the purple yarn sausage Tunisian cardigan, and this one is much better. So if you feel like doing Tunisian cardigan or sweater again, this one is better. And I was like, yes, thank you. And then finally, Arlene sent me another pattern on my wish list, which is the Hekla, I'm not sure how to say that, the Hekla cardigan, which is like, it's been on my wish list for a while as well. And this one is kind of stripy. It uses Madeline Tosh Light, which is 384 meters for 100 grams. So what is that, a sport weight? Is that a sport weight or like a plump fingering? I do not know, but this is a crochet cardigan. So I'm all set. So thank you so much. Those were just lovely little birthday surprises. I'm very, very grateful to you. And then Kayla, who was a viewer of this podcast, I asked on Instagram if anyone had any black wool-like yarn because I had a shawl design floating around in my head and I needed 2 balls, but Michael's was sold out online and of course all the stores are closed. Of course now I haven't started on that crochet design because I have been feeling like poop, but she responded and sent me 2, but then also she sent me some gray wool-like. So delightful. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that. That was very, very kind of you. And then my best friend, Caitlin, my best friend in real life, she got me for my birthday 2 skeins of Knit Picks Hawthorn, which I'm not gonna take them out of the packet. Oh, this one's bursting at the seams. It's a, I believe 75-25, 75-25. Let's see. Oh, 80% superwash Highland wool and 20% nylon. And it's the colorway Klamath Falls. It is the Knit Picks Hawthorn fingering. I actually made an entire cardigan out of this yarn. My Ariana cardigan by Vicky Chan, which I wear all the time, although not recently because I've just been in my house and it's beautiful and fancy, and I have not been fancy. I've been wearing yoga pants. But she was like, I hope you like this yarn. And I was like, you don't even know how much I like this yarn. I like this yarn so much that I made an entire sweater out of it. Used like 6 skeins of it. So happy to have more of that in my stash. I think that's it. It was my birthday last week. I'm 31 now. And I did not feel so hot on my birthday. And of course we had to stay inside. But I did get a deli sandwich from a local Italian market called Mazzaro's that is down the street. They're still open, like, because they're a little grocery store. So I got to eat that on my birthday, even though it did not go down super well in my stomach. It was worth it. So I ate that, and I didn't eat any candy or cake or anything, but I do have a hoard of candy now that I just showed you. So when I am feeling a little better, I will eat that. And I guess I'm 31 now. I mean, all kinds of people are having like birthdays inside, right? Because we're all on lockdown. I think the governor of Florida is supposed to be making some announcement on reopening Florida in some fashion today. I don't know what he's saying. They're definitely opening the beaches next week. The beach has been closed for a month now. I can't believe it's been a month. Like, we've been inside on a stay-at-home order for an entire month, and 2 weeks before that. So really it's been 6 weeks we've been inside. I know for some people it's been longer. So it'll be really, really nice to go to the beach again. I don't know, like, people are like, oh, you can't social distance at the beach. And I'm like, not the way I go to the beach. I know, like, some people take their whole family. When we go to the beach, it's just my husband and I usually, and we take our little chairs and he goes for a walk and I like lay on a blanket or sit in my chair. If someone even gets like within a couple of feet of me, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, can't you see, this is our little area. And I feel like people stay away from each other at the beach anyways, unless you're at a really touristy beach, which we don't go to the touristy beaches. So I'm very excited to have the beach open because that is my happy place. I love to just sit there and listen to the waves and watch the sunset. And we haven't been able to do that. And April is generally when we start going to the beach and like going swimming and stuff. And of course we can't, but maybe we'll be able to do that next week. We can go watch a sunset or something, and I can take a sock and work on it. Like, I love knitting at the beach, I love crocheting at the beach. I just love being at the beach. It is my life goal to own a little apartment or condo or something with like a sliding glass door or windows that open onto water. Not like a lake, like actual, like the Gulf of Mexico or like an ocean or something like that, because I would just be sitting out there all the time. That is the most calming thing to me. So it's been quite a 3 weeks. I hope it has not been so intense for you. My husband and I still have our jobs at the moment. There was someone who does not have a job anymore at the company I work at, so I've been trying to do 2 jobs, which has been a little difficult, but I'm trying not to complain, because this is definitely not the time to complain about having employment. I think we're just taking it one pay cycle at a time, so I think I'm good for another 2 weeks, and then we'll see what happens. And so I think the same for my husband. We're just kind of taking it one pay cycle at a time. His work has definitely slowed down, but we're just crossing our fingers and praying and that he does not get laid off. And yeah, we're all healthy here, so that is a bonus. Even when I wasn't feeling well, I did not have the virus, I didn't have the flu or like anything like that. Just a thing that happens in my life sometimes and takes me out. But that is positive. So I hope that you are okay where you are. I hope that you're not going too stir crazy if you're still stuck inside. I hope that you still have a job, or if you don't, that you've been able to get somewhere on the unemployment system if you're in the United States. So I would love to know, like, leave me a comment below, let me know how you are, because I feel like it's been ages since I've talked to you, and I really, really missed talking to you last week. I even like last Wednesday, it was like the midday, and I was even thinking like, I feel so horrible, but I'm still gonna like figure out a way to record. But then it just got worse. So the whole day I was like, I'm not gonna record today. My whole schedule is gonna be off. And that happens sometimes, you know, like I'm a person, and I'm definitely feeling better now, but I don't like to skip podcasts. It happens maybe once or twice a year because either I'm not feeling well or I'm out of town or something. So I don't like it. I like to be on a schedule, and I just like it. So leave me a comment. Let me know how you are doing, because I am worried about you, and I hope that you are getting in some crafting time, or if you are like me and didn't touch anything for a week, that's okay too. Because this is a huge thing that we're all going through, and that takes a toll on your brain for sure. So I'm going to end it here because I'm tired. And I'm going to put all of this stuff away, and then I'm going to lie on the couch and watch Chopped until bedtime. That is my life happiness goal. So until I see you again, hopefully that will be in 2 weeks, as long as nothing happens in my stomach between now and then and we continue to be on the mend. So I hope I will see you in 2 weeks, and I hope that you are well and safe and healthy, and that you are okay. So sending you all a huge hug. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back, and thank you for all the messages that you were worried last time I didn't post. And thank you for everyone who's purchased a pattern or left a comment on a video or is a patron supporter of this podcast. I just don't know what I would do without you. You are delightful, and you bring joy and happiness to my life. I have to stop before I get emotional. So until I see you again, happy crafting. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you very soon in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.